Welcome. Welcome to the Opus Dei Academy of Food. Today's core study, caretaking of our kitchen, intending nutritional goodness. Undoubtedly, God loves you. Cooking ugly. Now, as we can see here, we have a list of minerals. Is the amount of nutrients that are found in our food. Here is a list of vitamins. Okay, from A, P, PABA, all the way down, a complete list of different acids, different vitamins that allow for our wellness to be. So here we have a list of our minerals that we consume. The phrases that I choose to use, either they were used to form the word or the understanding of the job, that the task at hand that it accomplishes. Now, mind you, as these things are found in unison with something other, combining aspect not only brings both of those that form that aspect, but together, working together, we have a third benefit. Now, calcium, known as "can I see your papers?" The reason I say that, it's like someone trying to gain access to your party. Man, someone answers the front door. Who is it? And calcium controls the passage of the fluids through the cell walls. That calcium allows that cell to say, hey, good, come on in. Bad, no, time to depart. This outer parameter is like the fortress wall. Okay? Now, phosphorus builds nerve and brain tissue. Now, those are the facts of the matter. That's how something communicates, something fabricates, something cleanses. Whatever form of communication happens inside the body, phosphorus must be a part of that to allow our communication systems to be heard, and so that the body in unison can follow the command, chain of command. Now, potassium's the trash truck and the supply line. It removes toxicity and delivers the nutritious delivery like a two-way highway, taking the trash away as it's departing the body and allowing the nutrients to feed the body. Now, I'm not talking about the belly. I'm talking about every component that is inside of you, from the tiniest of balls to the bigger balls. Bigger balls form tissues. Tissues form organs. Organs form the organization. Okay? Now, sodium I call the Judas. The reason I call that in the story of man, Judas is the betrayer. But I just ask for everyone, just hear me on this. If it wasn't for Judas's betrayal, how else does the Christ get to the passion? So what I'm saying is, I'm not telling you good, bad, or indifferent. That's not. What I am saying to you, it was a necessary component in order that the word would be fulfilled. Now, when it comes to sodium in our body, it deals really how the pH balance governs itself. And more importantly, for us to understand, is the digestive juices that allow for our body to start that metabolism. So when we have minerals, they need to be metabolized. When something is water soluble, it's less demanding on them to be metabolized. So magnesium is the maintenance man. All right, it facilitates carbs. It supports nerves and muscles, as well as it cares for our immune system. Okay, so, right, you got a problem in the sink, you call a maintenance man. You got a problem with the commode, you call a maintenance man. You got a light that you need changed, you need something installed, you're calling a maintenance man. So iron, known as a taxi cab, kind of like today's present day Uber, but no cash needed here. This taxicab is for oxygen and CO2, carbon, right? CO2. In and around the body, the construction of bones and muscles. Now, magnesium is the facilitator. It makes everything happen, okay? Good, bad, or indifferent, it happens because of magnesium. It facilitates gaining potential to chemical reactions, metabolism, and bone and tissue strength. Tissues are cells, tissues become organs, and organs become an organization. So at every level of our existence, all of these matter. Okay, copper, the good servant. And just remember what is written in the word. It is when a servant becomes a friend. That is what we're ascertaining. We're going to serve ourselves, and then we're going to become friends with ourselves. When we depart illness and we ascertain wellness, that's a friend. Now, iodine. Iodine is the fat kicker and the protein buster. It's the professional mineral of the thyroid, the master. Okay? Now, what I'm just trying to say to you when I say master, it serves everything, everyone, everywhere, everyhow. Now, when it comes to magnesium, there's a word. Let me go change the signs and I'll be right back. As we were just talking about magnesium and magnesium, I want you to understand that in our nerves, how our nervous system, how the communications happen within inside between different types of components of our body. Nerves are the communication systems, okay? On these nerves, part of the nervous system, are something called dendrites. As you can see here, I'm trying to draw a tree, okay? And each tree, okay, has limbs, okay? In the wintertime, you can see it, okay? But when the time of the season comes, and it is needed, I want you to look at this. That one limb we're looking at close. See how it has the buds? Okay? That's another stage. Then you come and we look on that same one, and as it comes into maturation, becomes into its fullness, leaves appear. Okay? And then finally, we end up with a tree full of leaves, full of shade, casting everywhere. But inside, you still see the structure that we were able to see in the winter. Now, things that we will talk about, dark magnesium. Okay? Now, that's not necessarily for right now, but it's a foreshadow. And what these dendrites have are minute gaps with controlled lightning. Sparks not. It's not sparks. Controlled lightning. The human body has 100,000 ohms. And as we come to learn, we delve even deeper and deeper, we'll greater understand what it takes exactly for our existence to be. Minute gaps. Okay? Calcareous mudstone, that's where that comes from. Tree of life. Okay? Mudstone. Mud, soil, dirt. Nice, beautiful. Tree of life. Okay? Life of everything. That includes any adversarial condition that's inside that we host. Okay? We host our adversaries. All you got to do is tell them they got to go. Sayonara, Charlie. All is all. If the natures of law did not allow our adversarial conditions to exist, then life in itself would stop to exist. Because in order to be generated, there's got to be a degenerated, regenerated, to become generated. All is all. Best to respect this. Respect. So, in closing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Seed, branch, branch, tree. Or another way, again and again and again in a tree. Again and again and again, tree. Again and again and again, tree. Gain, gain, gain. A. Great report card. If we can keep these healthy, let them do their job, our adversary will be easier to be voided. Now, when you see the trees and the leaves, basically to understand, magnesium is in the colors of green, and then how you see the leaves change in the fall, basically it's a transition of this magnesium. Okay? Now, when you see chlorophyll or chlorofoam, chloro, okay, the fill aspect is the word fulan, which is leaf, okay? Now, what I want you to understand is that the tree aspect, you either have two choices. Either we feed the fruitless tree, which is the one that takes from your life, okay, or the fulfillment of your existence in illness. It is said, may no fruit ever come from you again. And it died. Leaves of the tree of life were for the healing of the nations. That is the fruitful tree. From the tree, see, branch becomes tender and puts out leaves so that you know that summer is near. Again, what happens at the end of summer? The harvest. Okay? So the reason I'm trying to even say this, in the cycle of life, even what we return to the soil comes back to us in what we consume. And that's something that we can't pick up in anything artificial. Now, what I'm trying to show here, this being a nerve and this being a nerve, then those dendrites look like trees growing off the nerves. And all the way down, and on there. And as the fibers of the nerves come together, form a nervous system. But between each and every one of those, there's an interreaction. And that interreaction is better delivered. The amount that's delivered and the strength of what we are delivering is all based around the same principles of wellness. Nerve, nervous. Okay? I'm just saying to you, when we have anxieties, negative thoughts, all of this matters. When we're clear of mind, clear of thought, when we're clear in the body, and allow our systems to reach and attain their level best, you will know. Okay, you'll be the first one to know, because your thought process will be different. It will be slower. You'll be able to take the time to have greater discernment and not just react out of irritation because you're agitated all the time. Now, inflammation is inflammation. And anybody who has fibromyalgia or any of the intestinal issues that face us, or just anything based around inflammation. And when nerves get inflamed, the whole body is inflamed. Now, what I'm trying to demonstrate here, 1, 2, 3, 4. A cell, cells become tissue. Now, tissue becomes organ, heart, lungs, so forth and so on. These organs, upon completion, form the organization that we know as ourselves. Now, again, as we look at a cell, the outer parameter, which we call the cell wall, is like a fortress. And everything inside that fortress is protected, okay? Or allowed to depart, or allow the nutrients or supplies to come in. And then each one of these inner terrains is a different section of being. So what's inside here won't be inside there. What's there is not inside here. But yet they're contained in unison inside of what's drawn here. Fats, carbohydrates, proteins, all within inside of this interior terrain. There's different proteins. And then inside those different proteins are different items that make up, or the composite of such protein is captured inside of there. Minerals as well. Okay, minerals don't become one big mineral, and same thing with vitamins. They don't become one big Flintstone vitamin. Those vitamins that are in there, same thing within that multivitamin that we all take. You pop it in your mouth, you got all kinds of different things that make up the different vitamins, but nonetheless, each vitamin is used for a particular assignment. Okay, now how do they keep those vitamins shelf stable? Preservatives. We'll deal with that in the future, but we were all born to go back to where we come from, and we ain't taking our bodies with us, so our body has no desire to be preserved. Okay, so again, just so you remember, the outer perimeter is the protection. Everything inside is protected. We must adhere to this becoming like a stone wall, okay? With doorways all over the place that, again, calcium will let the good in and keep the bad out, okay? Let the good in, let the good out, facilitate what happens inside of this cell. One other thing to consider is the fact that we probably have close to 330 million of these cells generated every day in our lives. One other way of looking at this, let's look at a produce department. That produce department contains different aspects. Now, this here we would just say would be the refrigerated juices, different kinds of juice. Okay, you can have carrot juice, tomato juice, orange juice, apple juice. Then here would be the fresh vegetables. This here would be the refrigerated aspect, what is kept cold. Okay, so it would be things like lettuce head, collards, broccoli, asparagus, anything that needed to be held in a temperature cooler than room temperature. And here the carbohydrates would be the displayed at room temperature stuff, each being different but still in the same area. Meaning you can keep apples and bananas in one section, you could keep the tomatoes and the garlic in another with the avocados. And again, just different sections, but nonetheless, all part of the produce department. Now, even greater, a few departments put together in the same composite, you end up having the supermarket, okay? And the reason I bring this to point is to understand how your body instantaneously goes shopping to get different ingredients from each cell to be able to satisfy the needs of the shopper, so to say.